know, business analyst is all about understanding the requirements and providing solutions for any of the customer requirements. In view of it, whatever the activities being a business analyst will be performed as follows. So this is irrespective of technology, irrespective of the domain. Being a business analyst, we will be interacting with project sponsorer majorly. So not only a project sponsorer, we will be discussing even with the project manager as well. At the same time, being a business analyst, we will be interacting even with business owners, followed by the other stakeholders and as well as the technical people as well. When we talk about the activities of a business analyst, where the business requirements and all everything will be collected from the project sponsor, wherein project sponsor is the person who is sponsoring for the project. Whatever the goal and vision they wants to achieve in order to have some kind of solution, what is that they required will be given by the project sponsor, because project sponsors and the business owners always try to achieve what is that they want to achieve in future, right? So what kind of goals do they have, right? What kind of vision, strategy, all these things project sponsors or business owners will always look into. So being a business analyst, when we are interacting with project sponsor, we try to understand what are their business objectives and goals, followed by the vision, what is that they want to achieve in coming time. Now, when you speak to the project manager is the person who is responsible for the whole project. When we deal with project manager always try to see the possibilities of developing the project, right from the project planning, like how many people do we require, what are the timelines do we have. At the same time, for every project manager, there is some amount of budget will be allocated. Within that limited budget, that has to be completed, project has to be completed. So when being a business analyst, whenever we are interacting with the project manager and all, we must be knowing about what are the different possibilities. We would like to know about the kind of scope. What scope do we have? Normally the scope we can differentiate into two different parts. One is in scope followed by the out scope. In scope means what is there in our control, right? The manpower, timelines of the project, scheduling, project planning, all these things is in our control. Out of scope means which is not in our control. Sometimes there is some changes in requirements taken place in middle of the project. Some sort of deviation might happen in the project goal or the scope what we have defined. At the same time, there are possibilities where sometimes whenever we are gathering the requirements from the end user or from the stakeholders, there will be some restrictions due to different technical reasons as well as the security reasons. That is also one kind of scope. So scope, possibility, what are the possibilities do we have in order to understand the requirements or to make our application successful and possible. That interaction and all everything should be done with the project manager by any business analyst. Now when you talk about the user requirements, we will be discussing with the business users, whoever the users are. Normally we consider users in two different ways, because some kind of solutions or applications we develop for internal purpose. If you take for example as in healthcare, hospital, right? For example, we are developing a hospital management system for one of the customer. Now, who are the customers, end users here? People who are using back-end operations like hospital staff and all everything were considered as users. So when we are interacting with users, when we talk about hospital staff will be the users here. So what are the user requirements and all everything we will be understood. So this is one category. There will be some commercial applications, something like online banking, something kind of stuff, or else you can take online appointment system for patient management, right? So wherein customers can patients can order patients can book their appointments with the doctors and all everything online. That is also possible. So those are also users. So depends on the kind of application what is that we are using, the type of users and all everything will be different. because some applications for internal applications wherein we will be using for regular intervals, but some applications will be in commercial applications where you will be having two different users, wherein backend staff of the client will be there at the same time who are using that application will also be considered. For example, patient wants to take an appointment from the doctor, that's comes under the next category. So user requirements is what generally we need to do based upon the availability of the people and all that. So user requirements we will be collecting from the business users. At the same time, not only users, other stakeholders, depends upon the kind of interest, depends on the kind of uh, control over the project and all. So we need to meet as well as we need to observe and expect what are their expectation, constraints, demands should also be keeping into consideration. This is also something essentially important for any business analyst to perform with. Not only this, being a business analyst, we need to interact with the software development team followed by the testing team, because these are the people who are working on the project. So whatever the functional and non-functional requirements we are going to develop, all the functional and non-functional requirements will be prepared with the help of development team. At the same time, whatever we have prepared so far will be given in a document format. Normally, whenever we follow the traditional model, being a business analyst, we prepare different documents, something like BRDs, functional requirements, software requirements, specifications, all that. So these will be given to the technical team like development team, testing team, user interface designers and all. So they will be taking all these and they will be preparing documents based upon the need. We prepare the documents and we give it to them so that they will be working on the coding part, user interface designing, testing, database designing, everything will be taken care of by them. So this is what generally the role of a business analyst as well as the activities which being a business analyst we will be performing irrespective of technology and irrespective of the domain. So BA will be interacting with project sponsor and business owner all the time, project manager, business users, whereas stakeholders, followed by development team, testing team, all that. But when it comes to the healthcare, how it is different and what are the other areas to be focused more of? When you talk about healthcare business analyst, whatever the basic criteria means identifying the business objectives or collecting the requirements to prepare the business requirements documents or building plans and all everything, these are the common things, because these are the common responsibilities being a BA we will be performing irrespective of the domain. Either it may be healthcare, or it may be in investment banking, or it may be a payments, or it may be retail, whatever it is. The responsibilities of a business analyst will be common, right? Preparing functional requirements, non-functional requirements, all that stuff. Apart from that, being a business analyst, when we are working with healthcare team, healthcare organizations, when we are working for healthcare projects and all, there are some understanding levels in reference to the healthcare system, how healthcare system works, how healthcare system performs, what are the different activities which healthcare system majorly focuses on, especially in reference to the US healthcare system is all about, how it functions, what are the different insurance plans we have like Medicare, Medicaid, all that, because few plans will be taken care of by the federal government, and whereas few plans will be taken care of by the state government under the control of state government. Of course, there will be some recent regular amendments and all everything will happen. So that's a continuous process wherein knowledge about the insurance plans, the kind of services it's going to be provided. So that sort of understanding is required. Not only this, you need to know about healthcare jargons, terminologies, that is also needed. Next, apart from that, we must be able in a position to understand the process of health claims, means how the claim processing adjudication happens. For example, a hospital has given a treatment to one of the patient. So before they're making a patient to join, usually they'll identify what this patient is all about, right? So they will be seeing all that, right? Normally they will be going through all that. So based on that, what is they do based on the availability and the eligibility of the insurance plan, what that respective individual is having, treatment will be given. Once the treatment is being given, so whatever the amount of money which was done for the particular treatment and all that, they have to claim from the insurance company. So that whatever the transactions happen from healthcare providers, because normally we call them as healthcare providers, means hospitals, all that, either clinics, hospitals, all this comes under healthcare providers. And how these healthcare providers are interacting with insurance companies. This insurance company may not be a private insurance company, because some people even may have a private insurance service as well. So how they are interacting with the private insurance companies, or else they may be interacting with the government authorizations also, right? For example, when you talk about Medicare, Medicaid policies and all, government authorized services entity will be there. They will be looking after all the claim processing, all that. So how this claim processing and adjudication happens? Because and that too, when we are doing these transactions and all, this is not something visible, because health information of any particular individual is very sensitive. So obviously what is that we do is that we don't normally encourage this information will be exposed outside, so that whatever the transaction we do between two different people, between from healthcare organizations, healthcare providers to the insurance companies and all, everything will be happen in an encrypted format. That's the reason why this transaction codes and all everything comes into picture. So that sort of understanding, because there are some prominent codes somewhere around 10 to 15 codes are there, which are used by us in regular intervals. So that understanding, as well as claim processing and adjudication, how it functions, how it happens, that sort of understanding is essentially required and needed for any business analyst, apart from the responsibilities what I was mentioned earlier. So when you talk about the regular business analyst to healthcare BA, regular business analyst responsibilities to gather the requirements, preparing documents and all, everything was completely one the same, that will be there. Apart from that, what else is required is we must be knowing about what are the different health insurance plans do we have, what are the different claim processing and adjudications we do, how they we do, right? So what are the different jargons, policies, procedures, all these things must be aware of a business analyst when they are working on healthcare environment. Because whenever we are working on healthcare, we will be interacting with multiple people who are relating to the healthcare and all that. That terminologies followed by the functionalities and process must be aware for a business analyst, apart from the documentation, all that, because documentation and all everything comes final. But before that, there are a lot of interaction we need to do with stakeholders. Why customer is asking us to develop the application? For example, we are developing in healthcare hospital management system for one of your customer, right? For what reason? What are the features and functionalities must be included in it? How this is to be integrated if they are performing any claim processing and adjudication and all that? How are we integrating it? All this must be aware of us. So unless until if you don't have awareness about all these things, managing all these activities and all everything will be difficult for us. So this is how generally, if you see the differentiation between the regular business analyst when we are comparing with healthcare business analyst responsibilities majorly focusing on this.